Hello everyone, my name is Lara. I'm a PhD neuroscientist and welcome to my channel, Books, Brain and Bodies. Today we're going to be going through my system on how I manage to stay accountable, disciplined and achieve my goals every single year. January is typically when we start setting our goals. Around this time of year is where we start to reevaluate them and maybe even give up on some of them. I know I've fallen into this trap before. For years, I always used to be so motivated the first 2 weeks, and then afterwards, just the habits started dwindling, and I never ended up getting around to achieving any of my goals. So over the last couple of years, I've taken a different approach. And the first thing you want to do is grab yourself a piece of paper or whiteboard. I cannot recommend enough actually physically writing it down rather than typing it, as it's a lot more engaging and will therefore really help solidify what you set out to do into your brain. Plus, when you have a physical copy of it, you can put it around your room or somewhere where you are going to be seeing it every single day. It's really going to help remind you of what you're setting out to do and why you're setting out to do it. The emotional driving force is what we tend to forget, that why do I actually want to do this? This system is hopefully going to help you do that. The way that this system is going to be set up is that there's going to be 3 different sections. You're going to have your overview in section 1, section 2, goals, and then in section 3, your milestones and your deadlines. And now we're going to go into how exactly that's going to work. On the top of the first section, you're going to write your word or your value of your year. Spend some time really thinking about this, because this will represent your outlook as well as your primary priority of the year. For me, it's going to be balance. It's really important for me to take some time out for myself and really prevent that burnout. Once you have your word or value for the year, I would recommend putting a nice little box around it. And then surrounding that word, we're gonna have your 2 to 3 keystone habits which support your value or your priority of the year. For example, in order for me to stay balanced, I'm gonna be doing some form of exercise 4 times a week. So for me, that's primarily weightlifting, because that's what I most enjoy. Although sometimes, especially if the weather's nice, going out even on a nice walk and reconnecting with nature. Then I'm going to read a minimum of 1 book a month to really help further my understanding and personal development, as that's something I'm very passionate about. And lastly, going on 1 adventure a month really helps reset myself. If I'm in a good headspace and you just enjoy it for what it is, but particularly when you're feeling stressed or upset, forcing yourself to go out and experience new things, whether it's going on a hike or going to the zoo or seeing an Irish dance performance, is really going to help reset yourself. It's not going to make your problems go away, but it might help you look at them in a different light, or at the very least forget what was going on. So we have our word of the year, we have a couple of keystone habits, and underneath that, still within the same section, we are going to have some quotes which resonate to you and will help drive you and motivate you towards your goal. Remember your why, basically. For me, I get my quotes from the books I've read, where I just have a Notion database based of my book notes. I go through them and I have a look at which ones resonate the most. In our second section, this is where the actual goal setting sets in. I would recommend having 2 to 3 categories. For me, in the past, I've had personal and professional being my PhD. So within each category, you're going to have 3 different tiers. Now, I did not come up with this. It was a 3-tiered system that was Rob Dial, who I think is absolutely incredible. You've got hit by a bus, which is your absolute bare minimum. Like, the theory is, if I got hit by a bus and survived, I would still be able to achieve this. In the past, I've made the mistake, because quite an ambitious and stubborn person, that my hit by a bus was way more than the bare minimum. I would not recommend that, particularly when you're starting out with something new. Like the bar is so low, so low. This is really going to help you gain that momentum. For example, if one of your goals was to, let's say, read one book a month, that if you're not used to reading books, have your hit by a bus goal, read 20 pages or read one book. And then once you've done that, you're like, okay, yeah, I can do this, and it's gonna help motivate you. And even if you get hit by a bus or something else happens and you only achieve your hit by a bus goal, you still hit a goal, which is amazing. The next tier what should you achieve if you put a decent amount of effort into this. And finally, there is could. If you have laser sharp focus, just blinders on, what could you achieve? And this is where, if you want, you can start being a little bit outrageous, still reasonable, but go for gold, you know, give it a go, see what happens. Because if you manage to achieve that, it is such an incredible feeling. Now, typically for each category, so for example, personal life, I'll have 3 subcategories. So for example, you could have a fitness goal, you could have a financial goal, and you could have a self-improvement goal. And remembering those 3 tiers for each. You want to do the same thing professionally as well, because it is important that you have that work-life balance. You want to work towards your work goals, but you yourself are also important and integral to take some time out for ourselves, because when you improve yourself, you improve your quality of work at the same time. Now we have our overview, we have our goals, and now for our final part, on the top half we have our milestones, and on the bottom half we have our deadlines. So for our milestones, yes, it's important to set your goals and be ambitious and always strive for more. It is equally as important to celebrate your wins. So every time you see tangible progress, or every time when you're like, good job me, that was pretty good. It doesn't matter how minor it is. It doesn't matter if you tell someone, or if you're the only person that cares, write it down. Because in those moments where you're questioning yourself, if you have imposter syndrome, if you're like, why am I saving? What is the point? I'm never gonna get there. You can have a look at your milestones and you're like, actually, I can do this because I managed to do this and this and this and this. And it doesn't have to be the biggest things. If you are proud of it, write it down, because that is exactly what you are going to need when you are doubting yourself, which you shouldn't do, but you will, because human nature. And you can have a look and then you'll remember. Finally, deadline. For your important deadlines, whether it's meetings, when a project due, writing down your deadlines and counting them down is going to help and show you where you need to shift your direction to. And that's it. This is my system of how I manage to stay accountable and motivated and kick some goals every single year. If you found this helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. I would absolutely love to know what you have got planned this year, so either chuck it down in the comments or share it on Instagram and tag me at Books, Brains and Bodies. Remember, stay kind and be curious. I'll see you soon.